Jagannath Swami Nayana Path Game Bhavatu Me.
Once upon a time, long ago, there lived a great king called as King Indradyumna. King Indradyumna ruled over the land called as Malava, of which Avantipur was his capital city. King Indradyumna came in the lineage of Lord Brahma, and he had a great devotion for the Supreme Lord Vishnu. He had so much devotion that he felt that his life would be useless without serving the Lord directly. So every time he came across a saintly person, he had one question to ask. Where is that place on this planet Earth where I can serve the Lord directly? Where I can see the Lord face to face? Where I can get his darshan? One day, a saintly person happened to come to the kingdom of King Indradyumna. The saintly person told the king that he had darshan of every dham in this world. But amongst all the different dhams in this world, there's one dham which stands out as the most extraordinary. And the saintly person told the king that this dham is called as Neelamadhava dham, present in Purushottam Kshetra. He said, in that state or country called as Uddradesha, which is now Odisha, there is a land which extends all the way to the South Sea, and that land is called as Purushottam Kshetra. In that Purushottam Kshetra, there is a very beautiful blue mountain which is called as Neelachal, and above the mountain there is a beautiful banyan tree called as Kalpavatta. To the west of Kalpavatta, there is a beautiful kunda, a reservoir of water called as Rohini Kund. It is said anyone who bathes in this Rohini Kund gets free from all kinds of sinful activities. And it is on that land there is the most beautiful deity of Lord Neelamadhava. Hearing these descriptions of this holy dham, the desire in the heart of King Indradyumna just grew more and more profound. Immediately the king called for his most trusted Brahmana, and his name is Vidyapati. He called for Vidyapati and told him his mission to find out the exact location of this Lord Neelamadhava. And the Brahmana Vidyapati, offering his obeisances and respects to King Indradyumna, seeking his permission, left for Neelachal Dham. After a months-long journey without rest, Vidyapati finally made it to the mountain, and there in the forest he met the people of the tribe called as Subhadra. The chief of those people was Vishvavasu, who was said to be a great devotee of the Supreme Lord. Vidyapati met Vishvavasu, and he saw his daughter, fell in love with his daughter and got married. So as Vidyapati stayed there amongst the tribe members, he noticed something going on. Vidyapati saw that Vishvavasu was secretly worshipping a deity. And he did not confront Vishvavasu, but he told his wife that he wanted to see the deity. So the daughter of Vishvavasu, she urged Vishvavasu to reveal the beauty of Lord Neelamadhava to her husband, Vidyapati. So with her persistent pleas, Vishvavasu finally agreed to show Vidyapati the beauty of Lord Neelamadhava. But on one condition, that Vidyapati would not get to know the way or the path to the place of residence of Lord Neelamadhava. So what did he do? Vishvavasu blindfolded Vidyapati and took him. But Vidyapati, keeping the mission of the king in mind, had a pouch of mustard seeds. He cut open the pouch of mustard seeds and kept it with him. So as he was blindfolded and taken to the residence of Lord Neelamadhava, the mustard seeds were falling in the path. so that gradually the mustard plants would grow and King Indradyumna would be able to make it to the place. So as they reached the place of residence of Lord Neelamadhava and his blindfold was removed, Vidyapati was taken aback by the extreme, exquisite beauty of Neelamadhava, and he felt so grateful for having got this darshan. Lord Neelamadhava was being worshipped by Vishvavasu for many years with simple fruits and simple offerings. So now Lord Neelamadhava spoke to Vishvavasu and told him that the king, who was also his great devotee, wanted to worship him with great opulence, and now he intends to receive that offering. Till now he was receiving the humble offerings of Vishvavasu, but now he also wanted to reciprocate with the devotional desires of the king. Saying thus, immediately Lord Neelamadhava disappeared from there. Vishvavasu did not know what to do, immediately broke down crying, but he blamed Vidyapati for all of this. Angry with Vidyapati's actions, immediately Vishvavasu took Vidyapati into custody and bound him with ropes and tied him in the middle of the forest. So one night, as Vidyapati was crying out for help, his wife happened to hear the crying pleas of her husband. She came one night, cut open the ropes, and allowed Vidyapati to return to Avantipur. As Vidyapati returned to Avantipur, he spoke all of his experiences in Nilachal Dham, in Purushottam Kshetra, and the exquisite beauty of Lord Neelamadhava. Hearing thus, the king Indradyumna mounted his chariot and with his army rushed towards Purushottam Kshetra. When the king and his Brahmana friend Vidyapati reached the abode of Lord Neelamadhava, they were shocked to find that Neelamadhava was no more there. They lamented their misfortune, but the king blamed Vishvavasu for the disappearance of Neelamadhava. Who knows, probably to keep the Lord with himself, he could have done anything. But when they found Vishvavasu, he too was mourning for the disappearance of Lord Neelamadhava. Still, King Indradyumna went ahead to arrest him. Suddenly, Narada Muni appeared on the scene and spoke out exactly what events had taken place. He told King Indradyumna that Lord Neelamadhava had disappeared by his own sweet will. But to reciprocate with the desires of the king, the Supreme Lord was going to reappear in the form of Lord Jagannath. Lord Neelamadhava was accepting the humble offerings in secrecy of Vishvavasu, but Lord Jagannath would appear to accept all the offerings for the benefit of all of the world. Saying thus, Narada Muni gave two instructions to King Indradyumna. First is that he was instructed to build a huge temple for the Lord, and second, he said Lord Brahma would like to meet him personally on his planet, where he would plan for the installation of Lord Jagannath. When the temple was finally completed, King Indradyumna was escorted by Narada Muni to Satyaloka, where Lord Brahma resides. Lord Brahma wanted to meet with King Indradyumna. We can understand the devotion of King Indradyumna that even Lord Brahma, the creator of the universe, wanted to meet him. Lord Brahma further described how the Supreme Lord Jagannath would appear in the form of a Kalpavriksha tree, transported directly from the spiritual abode of Shvetadvipa. As Indradyumna returned to earth, after spending a short time in Brahma's planet, many years had passed by on the planet of earth. No one recognized him in his kingdom, and Vidyapati was also replaced by another. The king remained bewildered until a mystical crow came and revealed what had happened, that everyone in his kingdom had died and the time had moved on. Here we can see how, for the sake of worshipping the Supreme Lord, King Indradyumna lost his family, lost his dear ones, lost his relatives, he lost his kingdom. Despite this hardship, King Indradyumna remained steadfast in his courage. He was determined to hasten the Lord's arrival by fasting, if necessary, up to death. Then, Lord Jagannath did appear, but only in a dream. In the dream, Lord Jagannath guided the king to the ocean, as king came to the shore of the ocean, he found this huge log floating in the waters. Many people, the entire army came to pick up the log, but they couldn't do so. So they were all trying, they did not know how to get this log onto the shore. At that time, an old person of the Subhadra class came forth. He is said to be the descendant of Vishvavasu. He came forth, picked up the log, and took it to the Gundicha temple for preparation. The greatest of the craftsmen had come forth to carve this deity, but no one could succeed. All their tools simply shattered as they tried to carve this wood. Then a mysterious old Brahmana called Ananta Maharan came forth. Some people say that he is none other than Vishwakarma, the architect of the demigods. He came forth and was ready to carve the deity, but on his own terms. He instructed King Indradyumna that he needed complete isolation, and he needed time of about 3 weeks where he wouldn't be disturbed at all. No one would open the gates and no one would see what would happen. He said that even if people outside would stop hearing the chiseling sound, still people should not enter for next 21 days. So as the chiseling started, Ananta Maharan started working on the deity. The king stood outside with great anticipation and anxiety. When about 2 weeks had passed, the king couldn't hear the chiseling sound anymore. He became even more worried. He didn't know what would happen next. He waited for the chiseling sound, but no sound came. He thought to himself, probably that man was old. Perhaps he would have died. Though all the Brahmanas and the citizens stopped the king went forth ahead and opened the gates. According to the terms and conditions put forth by Ananta Maharan, immediately he disappeared from there. And to the king's dismay, king only saw the unfinished carvings of the deities. He felt so dejected. He felt himself responsible for not having the complete forms of the Supreme Lord. At that time, the citizens tried to console him, and the chief priest ordered for the deities to be painted and dressed. At that time, Narada Muni appeared on the scene, and he revealed to King Indradyumna how all of this was Supreme Lord's divine plan. He said that these forms, called as Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, he had seen them once before in Dwarka. So these were the transcendental forms of the Supreme Lord, and this is how the Lord had decided to give his mercy to all the living entities. Then Narada Muni announced to the king that Lord Brahma would soon come and install the deity. And before the celebration began, Lord Brahma revealed to King Indradyumna that the new-found companions of the king were none other than Vidyapati and Vishvavasu in their new bodies. Thus, the story of Jagannath's appearance ended happily, with reunion of loving devotees to honor and serve the Lord.
Jagannath Swami Nayana Path Gami Bhavatu Me